Hello, everybody. So good to be back with you. Now that I'm getting used to talking to you while looking at myself. When the Zoom era began 2 years ago, I used to the first few times I was on video, on camera, I used to say, "Oh my word, is that what your mouth looks like when you speak?" And oh, look at those teeth. And geez, how many times have you blinked? Was so self-critical. So 2 years later, I'm a little bit more used to speaking and watching myself speak. And yeah, it's great to be back. Welcome back to those who have seen my previous video, and thank you so much for your feedback. I can't tell you how valuable it was for me, because when I started doing this, I thought, who is even going to learn anything or care, or why am I doing this? And the feedback so far has been wonderful, and if I can make a difference just to one person, I will continue doing this. So yeah, it's great to be back. So last week I had mentioned that I was going to talk about the shadow work, and the shadow is what helped me come up with the name Unapologetically Whole, because essentially your shadow is what makes you whole. So at the time, after my little breakdown, burnout, I started digging into the spiritual world, the world of metaphysics, and I was like, oh my word, give me more, tell me everything, I want to know. So I did angel courses, I did Reiki, I did DNA activations, I did theta healing, I did mediumship. I was so afraid of that initially, and then it was incredible. I did it with a guy, Andrew Churcher. He is amazing. He does house clearings. He's done my house when I moved into this house a year ago. He does healings, he does tarot readings, and the mediumship, of course. And yeah, I also did tarot, learned to do the tarot with him. And then during one of his workshops, he mentioned shadow work, and I thought, yeah, bring it on. I'm doing everything. I want to know everything. I'm game. And I kept thinking, why can't I see the angels and whatever? And every time I would have a little sort of experience, I'd jump and think, okay, I'm not ready. So silly. Anyway, when he said, we're doing shadow, I said, right, bring on shadow. This was 2013. And very quickly, my excitement for shadow died a bit. It faded a bit, because, wow, looking at your shadow is, yeah, fun and games. So what is the shadow? So basically, just in simple terms, your shadow is the part of yourself that you've denied, the part of yourself you don't like, the part of yourself that you try and hide, the part of yourself that you don't show others. Okay. And how does this happen? So until you're about four, everything is happy, healthy, free. You don't have too many memories, I don't think, up to then. And then you start creche, maybe, or school. You start socializing, and then you start hearing things. Don't talk to me that way, it's rude. Or you're being stubborn, I said, put it away now. Or share that with your sister, don't be selfish. Geez, I've got so many examples. I'm your mother, do not be disrespectful. Or this one for us Portuguese people, come, go kiss the auntie. You want her to like you, right? Go kiss the auntie. And we start identifying these things, these words, with negative. And we try and hide them, and we try and not be that way, so that we can be accepted, so that we can be loved, so that we can feel like we belong. And slowly, we start disowning a huge part of ourselves. So the shadow work I wanted to actually read from this book. The shadow work we did was based on this book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. And I want to read you what they say. Most of us were raised to believe that people have good qualities and bad qualities. And in order to be accepted, we had to get rid of our bad qualities or at least hide them. But love is inclusive. It accepts the full range of human emotions, the emotions we hide and the emotions we fear. Carl Jung once said, "I'd rather be whole than be good." And when Andrew said to me, "Would you rather be whole or good?" That was a tough one. I wanted to be good, but surely it's more important to be whole. So that really got to me, you know. So because we live in a world of duality, we are taught that there's good and bad, positive and negative, and there's two sides to everything, and we got to be the one that we've been taught, whatever it is, and whoever we've been taught by. We hold these specific qualities in high regard, and that's what we aim for, and we suppress the others. But the thing is, to know the good, how are you going to know the good if you don't know the contrast, the bad? It's as simple as a simple example like summer and winter. It's two opposites. You may like summer more than winter, but it doesn't mean winter's bad. It's just the opposite of summer. One is hot and one is cold. And we need them all, right? Only then are our seasons whole. So for us, it's the same thing. Only with the two aspects, the contrasts, only with the two can we be whole. And Neil, what's his name? Neil Donald Walsh, he wrote Conversations with God. He wrote the foreword in this book, and he said, it was only then when I looked at my shadow side and saw clearly why others sometimes called these my negative behaviors that I also saw the gift in each of them. All I had to do was use those behaviors differently. Not repress them, not disown them, just use them differently. So once we acknowledge there's that so-called negative within us, and we accept it, and we know that we can choose how to use it, if to use it, it's so much easier to make peace with yourself. And then when you recognize that quality in others, it's so much easier to accept them, move on, forgive, and all that kind of thing. So the way I was tested this weekend was quite interesting. I've been doing this kind of work for a long time. Like, for example, if somebody had to say to you, "You're a thief," and you think, "No, I'm not a thief," you know, like I'm an honest person. I'm not a thief. And you take offense to being a thief, and you do not accept that word, and you don't, that's not you. So you're in denial of the aspect of you that is a thief, because you do have that aspect in you, otherwise you wouldn't be whole. So the way we were taught in the workshop, and what I do all the time, is try and find myself, okay, how, in what way am I a thief? And I thought of an example just a little earlier, like if my children were hungry, for example, would I go and steal something to eat? I would. So yes, I'm a thief. And once you become okay with certain things, you can choose to either steal or not. It's a choice. But that aspect is within you. And it's so much easier when you can just see yourself, and once you admit it, you don't have to hide. It's so liberating when you just know that it's all in you, and you can choose to act upon it or not. So I was saying during the week, how am I going to explain this whole shadow thing? I thought, okay, the best way to explain is with what happened with me. And I thought, oh, you know, I've gone through this so long ago, etc., etc. And you ask, and the universe provides an opportunity. So I had a meeting this past Saturday with one of my fellow leaders, and I knew it was going to be a tough, a tough Saturday, because she's just hectic. She's just so busy, and like in a word, like too much. And I had to come home and I had to like, right, I can't, like I can't move on when all this stuff stuck. So I had to start writing some stuff down, which I did. And I had to say, right, in what way are you just like her? And I thought, right, I want to control everything as well. If something goes wrong, I want to fix it. I want to make it right. Okay. And I want to do everything perfectly, which is what has stopped me for so long from painting and sewing and whatever, because anything I did was never good enough, because I was always searching for perfection. And that was one of her qualities as well. And I thought, right. So if you are controlling, why do you think you're controlling? Then I said to myself, well, I'm controlling because, there's a certain way that I like things to be done. And if it's not done right, then obviously it's wrong. And so I've got to do it myself. And I've got to make it as perfect as possible, because maybe I've got something to prove. And then I asked myself, to prove to who? And then it was like, well, I've got to prove to others, to myself, but mostly I figured out I've got to prove myself to the universe. So I always thought that I needed to prove to God that I am worthy, that I'm getting better, I'm learning my lessons. I always felt that before I can be completely loved and accepted, I had to prove myself. And whereas I consciously know that that is not so. I am loved regardless. So I went back to the whole controlling thing, and I thought, why controlling? Controlling because I don't trust that anybody's going to do it right. And I figured out trust is a big issue as well. So once you discover this, once you start looking at yourself, it's like, right, what do I do with this information now? But I find that once you figure, you dissect all these little things, and you figure it out. This feeling comes from that feeling. What's the opposite of this feeling? In what situation would this negative feeling be of service or be useful, whatever? Then you can start looking. Okay, where does it come from? And then you can start looking at past things that happened to you. Like, for example, this girl, she was cheated on at a very young age by her boyfriend, and she lost trust, and she needed to control her future, and she became hard and direct and too much. So once you can figure out where it comes from, you can maybe accept easier and make peace with it and do something about it. Now, sometimes you don't know where it comes from. You don't remember anything in your past that could have happened that could have caused this. You don't remember at the time, but maybe it'll come, sometime later. But maybe you have it on a subconscious level, which requires other work, pulling subconscious beliefs, which I can talk about next time maybe. I wanted to say from other lifetimes, if you believe in other lifetimes, which I do. And you bring across generational lessons, from your parents. It's in your DNA, and the behaviors and the beliefs come with you through the generations. So for me, it's such interesting work, because once it's what I said last time, this thing of awareness. Oh, it is just so liberating, because when you don't have to lie or be anything other than what you are. Once you have acceptance, first you have awareness of your traits, you have acceptance of them, and then you can just be free to choose your actions, basically. So I just want to finish with another little quote that Andrew said. If you don't go within, you will go without. So I hope that was helpful. It was certainly helpful for me preparing this little video, because I did have a couple of new realizations, so thank you. And yeah, it was good to be back. And yeah, like, as I said, DM me, check me talking like the teenagers. Message me if you want Andrew's number, and if you have any questions for me, you're most welcome to ask me. And thank you for allowing me to share with you. Have an awesome week ahead. Bye, everyone.